What you tolerate today determines what you'll inherit tomorrow. Every small decision, every habit you accept or reject shapes the life you will live. Settling for less, spending carelessly, or ignoring growth today means you invite struggle tomorrow. To move from broke to wealthy, you must think and act differently. It's not about quick fixes or luck. It's about a radical shift in mindset and habits. Today, we'll uncover the principles that separate those stuck in scarcity from those who create lasting fortune and freedom. The choice is yours. Will you think in the mindset of scarcity, or will you act in the discipline of abundance? Let's begin this journey. If every dollar you make depends solely on the hours you work, you'll find yourself trapped in a cycle that never truly allows you to escape the limits of time. The harsh reality is this: your time is finite. There are only so many hours in a day, and if your income is directly tied to your presence, your energy, and your effort every single hour, then no matter how hard you work, your earning potential has a ceiling. The moment you stop working, your income stops. This is the trap that holds many people back from financial freedom. I've seen it time and time again, people grinding day after day, clocking in hours, but never getting ahead. They trade time for money, and that's a transaction that never scales. True wealth is created when you learn to earn beyond your labor. It means stepping beyond the idea that you must always trade your time directly for income. This is where the wealthy mindset takes root. They look for ways to build income streams that work for them, even while they sleep, travel, or spend time with their loved ones. This could be through investments that generate dividends, rental properties that pay monthly checks, royalties from books or inventions, or business systems that keep running without your constant presence. These are assets, real assets, that create cash flow independent of your immediate effort. In my own journey, I remember starting with just one stream of income, my job. I worked hard, but I realized quickly that no matter how much I put in, there was a limit to what I could make. Then I started learning about other ways to earn. I began investing small amounts in businesses and real estate. I developed side ventures that required effort up front but continued to pay off after the initial work was done. I discovered royalties through licensing and eventually created seminars and materials that kept generating income long after I'd done the work of creating them. Each of these streams expanded my earning power beyond my own hours. The strategy is simple but not always easy. Start small. Maybe you have a hobby or a skill that others would pay for. Turn that into a side hustle, a product or a service. Create something of value that others need or want. Once it's set up, it can continue to bring income with less daily effort. Meanwhile, educate yourself on investments, stocks, real estate, mutual funds, anything that has the potential to produce passive income over time. The goal is to have multiple streams that contribute to your financial well-being so you're not reliant on one paycheck or one source. This approach shifts your mindset too. You move from being a laborer to a creator, an owner, an investor. You learn to think about time differently, valuing it not just as the hours you work, but as the opportunity to build systems, relationships, and assets that serve you long term. It's a process of transformation, where you gradually put your money and effort into vehicles that multiply your wealth rather than just exchange for it. It's important to remember that building income beyond your labor requires discipline, patience, and education. It won't happen overnight. You have to be willing to invest time learning about markets, business, and how to structure your efforts. You must be willing to take calculated risks and sometimes fail forward. But the payoff is freedom, the ability to live life on your terms without being chained to a clock. When you embrace this philosophy, you begin to see money not just as something you earn moment to moment, but as a tool that works for you. It compounds, grows, and multiplies. Your income streams start working in harmony, creating stability and opportunities. You no longer live paycheck to paycheck, but build a fortress of financial security that can weather storms and provide for your future. Think of this as planting seeds rather than harvesting fruit every day. Each investment, each business, each royalty is a seed that grows quietly over time, building roots and branches that eventually create a forest of wealth. The more seeds you plant wisely, the larger and more resilient your financial garden becomes. Remember, the journey from labor-based income to multiple streams of wealth is a defining step on the path to financial independence. Don't limit yourself to what you can do in the next hour or day. Think in terms of creating lasting value that will continue to pay you for years to come. Start now, start small, and keep growing. That is how true wealth is built. There's a powerful truth many overlook when it comes to wealth: the willingness to live poor now so you can live rich later. It's not a popular idea in a world obsessed with instant gratification, but it's the cornerstone of financial freedom. You see, the poor chase comfort today. They want to enjoy life right now, often at the expense of their future. They spend every dollar they make on things that provide immediate pleasure, a night out, the latest gadget, or luxuries they can't truly afford. This pursuit of comfort is understandable, but it comes at a cost. It's a cost measured in missed opportunities, debt, and ultimately, a lack of freedom. I know this from experience. Early in my career, money was tight. I wanted to enjoy the fruits of my labor, but I quickly realized that if I spent everything I earned, I would never get ahead. So, I made a conscious choice to live modestly, to deny myself some comforts in the present in exchange for a better life in the future. It wasn't easy. There were times when I felt the pinch, when it seemed unfair, when I wondered if it was worth it. But those sacrifices laid the foundation for a future where money was no longer a worry, where freedom was abundant. Living poor now doesn't mean living miserable or without joy. It means prioritizing your spending, cutting unnecessary expenses, and focusing on what truly moves you closer to your goals. It means making choices like cooking at home instead of dining out, delaying upgrades on your car or phone, or saying no to impulse purchases. This kind of financial humility builds discipline. It trains your mind to value the future more than fleeting pleasure. Redirecting the money you save into savings or investments is the crucial step. Each dollar you put aside is a seed planted. It grows quietly, gaining interest, dividends, or value over time. You are not losing out on anything. You're buying your future freedom. This future is the place where your money works for you, where you have choices, where you can say yes to opportunities because you have a financial cushion. Many people misunderstand saving as deprivation, but it's actually empowerment. It's the fuel that propels you toward wealth. And here's the secret. When you live poor now, you build a mindset of abundance later. You stop reacting to every desire, and instead you act with purpose and vision. The temporary discomfort becomes a badge of honor, a testament to your commitment to a better life. Remember, wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. The sacrifices you make today are the investments that pay dividends for decades. The rich understand this. They don't see their current sacrifices as losses, but as strategic moves. They think in terms of years, even generations. This long-term vision is what separates them from those who remain trapped in the cycle of paycheck to paycheck living. So, as you navigate your financial journey, ask yourself, what comforts can I delay today so I can create freedom tomorrow? How can I redirect my spending to build assets rather than liabilities? The answer to these questions will determine your financial destiny. Living poor now to live rich later is a discipline, a mindset, and a powerful strategy that anyone willing to embrace it can use to break free from scarcity and step into abundance. Remember this well. Temporary sacrifice leads to permanent freedom. It's the path less traveled, but it's the path that leads to lasting wealth. Most people live life thinking their paycheck is the finish line, that if they just work hard enough at their job, the money will come and life will get better. But here's the truth. Working for a paycheck alone will keep you confined to a cycle of limited income and limited freedom. A job makes you a living, yes, but it rarely makes you wealthy. Wealth is not found in the hours you punch or the tasks you complete. It's found in the plan you build beyond those hours. I remember when I first realized this, I was grinding day in and day out, living paycheck to paycheck, hoping for a raise or a promotion. But no matter how much effort I put in, my income was tied to my time. If I stopped working, the money stopped coming. That's when I began to understand the value of working for a plan, a strategy that would allow me to generate income without being physically present every single moment. You must learn to think beyond your current job. If you have to keep your job, that's fine. It provides stability, and stability is important, especially when you're starting out. But don't stop there. Start building something on the side, something that doesn't require your constant presence, but can generate income for you even when you're not actively working. This could be a small business, an online product, investments in real estate, stocks, or even royalties from intellectual property. The key is to create assets, something that outlives your hours and continues to produce income long after your work is done. This is how wealth grows. This is how you move from being someone who trades time for money to someone who leverages time and resources to create multiple streams of income. I've seen countless people transform their lives by adopting this mindset. One story I recall is about a man I met who was a teacher by day but spent evenings and weekends writing books and creating online courses. At first it was a small side hustle, barely noticeable. But over time, as those books and courses gained traction, his income from those sources surpassed his teaching salary. Suddenly he had freedom. Freedom to choose how he spent his time, freedom to take risks, and freedom to build his future on his own terms. Your job is important. It pays the bills and gives you experience, but your plan is what will set you free. Don't put all your eggs in the paycheck basket. Diversify your income streams. Think about what you can build today that will continue to bring you returns tomorrow. Be patient, be consistent, and be disciplined. The rich don't just work for paychecks, they work for plans. And that plan is what builds lasting wealth. Don't just be a worker in the system, be a creator of your own financial destiny. There's a fundamental difference between income and assets that too many people overlook. Income feeds you, it pays the bills, puts food on the table, and covers your daily needs. But assets, they free you. They are the vehicles that build true wealth and financial independence. The poor often buy liabilities, things that look like assets, but actually take money out of their pockets. The wealthy, on the other hand, collect real assets, those things that earn for them even while they sleep. I remember the time when I was focused solely on earning a paycheck. I was comfortable buying what I thought I needed, a new car, the latest gadgets, even a bigger house than my budget really allowed. I convinced myself these were signs of success, but in reality, they were liabilities draining my resources every month. It wasn't until I shifted my mindset and started learning the difference between assets and liabilities that my financial life began to change. Assets are things like stocks, rental properties, small businesses, or intellectual property. Anything that generates cash flow without you having to trade more time for money. Imagine owning a rental property where the tenant's rent covers the mortgage and leaves you with extra income each month, or holding stocks that pay dividends regularly. These are assets working for you, producing wealth steadily over time. It's essential to stop buying things that lose value or cost you more to maintain. Instead, start educating yourself about assets that appreciate or produce income. This education is your most valuable tool because not every investment is an asset and not every asset is suitable for everyone. You need to study, learn, and understand what builds wealth sustainably. One of the best strategies I've seen is to start small. You don't have to buy multiple properties or invest thousands in stocks immediately. Begin with what you can afford, even if it's a small share in a mutual fund or a part-time business. The key is consistent growth. Over time, these assets compound, and that's when your financial freedom begins. Owning assets means you're no longer dependent on active income alone. It's the difference between working for money and having money work for you. This shift in perspective changes everything. When you build assets, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're creating a future where your money works harder than you ever could, opening doors to opportunity, security, and a life lived on your terms. Remember, income will feed you today, but assets will free you tomorrow. Focus your energy on building assets, not just chasing the next paycheck. That's the true path from financial struggle to financial freedom. Discipline is the cornerstone of every success story, especially when it comes to building wealth. It's not flashy and it's not glamorous, but it's powerful beyond measure. Wealth is built on disciplines repeated daily, while poverty is often the result of neglecting those very habits. The way you manage your money every day, how you save, how you invest, how you prioritize spending, this is what determines your financial future. Discipline in money matters isn't just a good idea. It should be treated like a religion. I've seen it countless times. People with enormous potential who let their finances slip away because they lack the discipline to save consistently or invest wisely. On the other hand, those who committed themselves to the small, steady discipline, saving before spending, investing before splurging, are the ones who create lasting wealth. It's that simple, yet that difficult. The difference between someone who struggles financially and someone who thrives isn't a secret formula. It's the ability to stick to disciplined financial habits, even when the temptation to do otherwise is strong. Think about it this way. If you treat your savings and investments as bills that must be paid no matter what, your financial life will begin to shift. You don't wait to see what's left at the end of the month. You decide first to save and invest, then live on the remainder. This mindset requires sacrifice, no doubt, but it's an investment in your future self. It means saying no to short-term pleasures in favor of long-term freedom. When I was starting out, I struggled with this discipline. I remember once having to say no to a tempting purchase so I could put that money into my savings account. It wasn't easy, but that small act of discipline became a building block for greater financial stability down the road. Over time, those small decisions compounded and opened doors that would have remained closed otherwise. Discipline is also about protecting these habits fiercely. Write down 3 financial habits you want to practice daily, maybe saving a fixed amount, reading financial news, or avoiding unnecessary purchases, and guard them like your most valuable possession. It's easy to make excuses or rationalize breaking your habits, but the cost of neglect can be high. Treat your financial disciplines as sacred promises to yourself. When saving and investing become automatic, like religious rituals, they lose their struggle and become a source of strength. It's this consistency, more than anything else, that separates the wealthy from the rest. Remember, wealth isn't built by luck or chance. It's built by habits repeated daily, habits anchored in discipline and respect for the process. If you want to change your financial destiny, start practicing financial discipline like a religion today. Your future self will thank you. When it comes to financial success, there's a world of difference between setting goals and setting standards. Goals are often dreams or wishes we hope to save a certain amount, to learn more about investing, or to improve our financial situation. But without firm standards, those goals remain fragile, easily broken by distractions or excuses. The wealthy don't just wish for better, they set non-negotiable standards. Commitments that they refuse to compromise on no matter what life throws at them. Let me tell you from my own experience. I used to have goals like I want to save more or I want to read more books, but those were vague and easy to push aside. What changed everything was when I turned those goals into standards, minimum amounts I would save each week, minimum chapters I would read every day, minimum dollars I would invest monthly. No matter how tired I was or how tempting it was to spend that money elsewhere, I held myself accountable to those standards. This mindset of non-negotiables changes your relationship with money and success. When saving becomes a standard, not a choice, it shifts from something you do when you feel like it to something you must do. When learning about money becomes a standard, You're not waiting for motivation. You're committed to constant growth. The difference is like night and day. Standards set the foundation for discipline. They're the guardrails that keep you on track even when motivation falters or challenges arise. When you set a standard to save at least 10% of your income every month, that standard becomes your baseline, not an option, but a must. When you set a standard to invest a certain amount consistently, you build momentum that leads to wealth over time. I've seen people break through financial ceilings simply because they refuse to lower their standards. They stopped negotiating with themselves. They understood that a life of financial freedom comes from unwavering commitment to habits that build wealth. These standards create a framework that supports your growth and shields you from poor choices. If you want to transform your financial future, don't just set goals, set standards. Decide on the minimum you will accept in saving, learning, and investing. Make those your non-negotiables. When life tests you, when temptation knocks, when distractions come, remember your standards and hold fast. That's how ordinary people become wealthy. That's how dreams become reality. When it comes to building wealth, the biggest difference between those who remain trapped in a cycle of struggle and those who rise to lasting success lies in how they think about time. The poor focus on the immediate, the next paycheck, the weekend, the short-term pleasures. They live from one Friday to the next, always chasing comfort now, but sacrificing their future. The wealthy, however, think in decades. They envision freedom not as a distant dream, but as a carefully planned destination that guides every choice they make today. I've seen many people caught up in the whirlwind of day-to-day life, feeling overwhelmed by bills, responsibilities, and distractions. They wonder why, despite working hard, their finances never seem to improve. The answer often lies in perspective. When your vision stops at the next paycheck, you're playing a short game, one that rarely leads to long-term wealth. But when you stretch your sight to 10 years, 20 years, or even 30 years ahead, your decisions begin to change. This long-term thinking isn't about vague hopes. It's about setting clear, measurable financial goals for the decade ahead. Imagine where you want to be in 10 years, not just how much money you want, but the kind of lifestyle, freedom, and security you desire. Once that vision is clear, every daily action becomes a deliberate step toward that future. Saving a small percentage today, learning new skills, investing wisely, these aren't random acts. They're building blocks for your decade-long plan. I remember when I started to take my financial future seriously, I set a goal that seemed almost unreachable at the time. But I broke it down into smaller habits, daily disciplines that aligned with my vision. Over time, those small, consistent moves compounded into the freedom I sought. It's the power of thinking in decades. So don't let your focus be limited by the calendar or the clock. Shift your mindset from the fleeting comforts of today to the lasting rewards of tomorrow. Set your sights on the long haul and watch how your daily choices begin to shape a future of true wealth and freedom. Before wealth can truly take root and flourish, there is something far more important that must be cultivated: character. Many chase after riches, dazzled by the allure of money and status, yet fail to realize that wealth without integrity is like a house built on sand. It might stand for a while, but eventually it will crumble. The foundation of lasting success is built on values, honesty, responsibility, and a genuine desire to serve others. I've watched people who gain great fortunes only to lose it all because they neglected this truth. Money alone does not guarantee security or happiness. Without a strong character, the temptations that come with wealth can lead to poor decisions, broken relationships, and ultimately ruin. But when your pursuit of wealth is anchored in solid principles, your success becomes sustainable. People want to do business with those they can trust. They want to support those who treat others with respect and fairness. This isn't just philosophy, it's practical wisdom. I once worked with a man who started with very little but built a thriving business because he put character first. He was honest with his clients, took responsibility for his mistakes, and always looked for ways to serve his community. His reputation opened doors and created opportunities that money alone could never buy. Over time, his wealth grew, but more importantly, so did the respect and loyalty of those around him. So as you set out on your path to financial success, remember that your character is the soil from which your wealth will grow. Focus on being trustworthy, reliable, and generous. Let your values guide every decision, big and small. When wealth is built on a foundation of integrity, it stands strong through storms and lasts for generations. There is a powerful habit that many overlook in the pursuit of wealth. A habit so simple yet profoundly transformative. It's the art of journaling. Wealthy minds are recorded minds. They don't just experience life, they take the time to capture lessons, ideas, and insights. Writing becomes the bridge that turns fleeting thoughts into solid wisdom. I found that those who succeed don't rely solely on memory or hope. They put their goals, plans, and reflections on paper. This daily discipline allows them to see patterns in their thinking, recognize mistakes before they become habits, and celebrate small wins that fuel motivation. A journal becomes a personal roadmap, a record of where you've been and where you intend to go. Imagine this. Every evening, you take a moment to write down what you learned about money, what habits helped or hurt your progress, and what goals you want to focus on tomorrow. Over time, this daily practice sharpens your financial awareness and builds your confidence. It transforms vague ambitions into clear, actionable steps. I remember early in my journey, I started journaling my thoughts about success and money. It was through writing that I discovered limiting beliefs I didn't realize I had, and I was able to replace them with empowering ideas. I tracked my progress, which kept me accountable, and revisited my notes to remind myself of the vision I was working toward. The journal became a mirror reflecting not just my journey, but my growth. Journaling is not just about writing, it's about reflection and growth. It helps you master your emotions, understand your financial behavior, and align your daily actions with your long-term goals. If you want to build wealth, start recording your journey. Let your pen become your most trusted advisor. Gratitude is often misunderstood as simply a fleeting feeling or a polite expression, but it's much more than that. Gratitude is a perspective, a powerful lens through which you can view your life and your journey to wealth. It keeps you grounded, centered, and sharp, especially when the path to success feels steep and uncertain. It's not just about feeling thankful. It's about cultivating an outlook that fuels your growth and guides your decisions with clarity and calm. When you practice gratitude daily, you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Instead of focusing on what you lack or the challenges you face, you start to see the opportunities, the resources, and the blessings already present in your life. This shift in perspective is critical because it changes the energy behind every choice you make. Decisions made from fear often lead to missed chances, rash moves, or wasted resources. Decisions made from abundance, on the other hand, are wiser, more confident, and aligned with long-term success. Here's a simple but profound strategy. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every single day. It doesn't have to be grand or monumental. It could be as simple as the roof over your head, the people who support you, or the lessons you've learned from a recent failure. Over time, this practice rewires your brain, making it easier to recognize good even in difficult circumstances. In my own life, I've found that gratitude acts like a compass. It helps me stay focused on what matters even when distractions or setbacks arise. When I start my day by acknowledging what I'm thankful for, I'm better prepared to face challenges with resilience and optimism. Gratitude fuels my ambition without allowing it to turn into greed or desperation. If you want to build lasting wealth, make gratitude a daily habit. Let it be the steady fuel that powers your climb, the anchor that holds you steady when storms come, and the spark that reminds you that wealth is not just about money, it's about living a rich, fulfilled life. As we come to the close of this journey together, it's important to remember that wealth True wealth is not a sudden stroke of luck or a miraculous windfall. It is the result of daily choices, consistent actions, and a mindset cultivated over time. The path from nothing to wealthy is walked one disciplined step at a time. It's shaped by the habits you build, the values you uphold, and the vision you carry in your heart. If you've learned anything today, let it be this. Success is not something you chase and catch. It is something you attract by the person you become. Your financial destiny is shaped by your philosophy, your discipline, and your ability to think beyond the immediate moment. It's about learning to live poor now so that you can live rich later, building assets instead of just chasing income, and setting standards that you refuse to compromise. The power to change your life lies in your hands. You don't have to wait for a better job, a big break, or the perfect conditions to start. What you do today, no matter how small, compounds over time and sets the stage for your future. Begin by adopting just one habit, one shift in thinking, or one new practice that aligns with your vision of wealth. Maybe it's saving a small portion of your income every month, starting a journal to track your financial progress, or committing to learning about investments. Whatever it is, commit fully and protect that commitment fiercely. Remember, discipline feels small in the moment, but it makes your future enormous. The wealthy are not those who avoid discomfort, they are those who endure it with purpose and vision. Your willingness to delay gratification, to live below your means while thinking beyond your circumstances, is what separates those who struggle from those who succeed. And don't forget the role of gratitude. Let gratitude be the fuel that keeps you grounded and joyful even as you strive. It shifts your mindset from fear and scarcity to abundance and possibility, allowing you to make decisions from a place of strength rather than desperation. Now is the time to act. Reflect on the lessons you've absorbed and ask yourself, what one small, consistent action can I take today that moves me closer to the life I want to build? What mindset shift am I ready to make that will redefine my future? Start there. Build on it daily. And don't be afraid to seek mentors, to study success, and to surround yourself with people who inspire growth. Your journey from nothing to wealthy is not a fairy tale. It's a plan, a blueprint built on wisdom, discipline, and relentless effort. Step forward with confidence, knowing that the daily decisions you make will create a legacy not only for yourself, but for generations to come. The road may be long, but every step forward is progress. Keep going, keep improving, and remember, wealth is attracted, not pursued. Become the person worthy of the wealth you desire, and watch as it unfolds in your life.